Hello, this is Abina at Cross Keys Crafts with the visible image artist trading card swap for August 2023, and the topic of this month is summer vibes. And I had a look through my stamps here, and one of the obvious, or two of the obvious ones, would have been the ice cream or the shells, but I've already used these, so I thought I'm not going to do that this time. Then I had a thought about using the afternoon tea ones, and I thought I could do something like a picnic theme for the summer, which would have been nice. But I found this one here, that's the gin stamp, and I thought these fruit here look really summery, so I'm going to work with them today, not necessarily the bottle. I haven't really thought this through completely. But other bits and bobs I found was the golden daffodils, and I've got this sending sunshine, so I think I'll be using that. I also found these berries on the Christmas robin, so if I wanted to add more fruit I could use these. And there's also this citrus twist thing, so I might use that one as well. This is from this Splash of Whiskey stamp set. I don't have many stencils from Visible Image, but I've got this one here, so I think I'll work with this one today. And as always, I've got a bigger piece of cardstock. This is an A5 sheet, and I will work on this side for the greeting card, and then on this side for the artist trading card that I will cut down afterwards. For the colour scheme, I like a summery colours. I like a mix of yellow, orange and pink, so I shall be using those today. I've got the Distress Oxide Carved Pumpkin. I think that's actually the only orange I do own. This yellow is from a Paper Craft Society box. It's a very bright yellow, so I hope that works for ink blending. And then I've got this Harmony by Spectrum Noir Fuchsia ink, so that would be very nice. And yeah, I'm just going to delve straight in. I don't want to cover the whole piece with this stencil. I want to fade it out a little bit, so I think I will stick it down like this. I'm going to tape it down a little bit with a bit of washi tape. I've got bits of thread everywhere from when I was sewing my wedding dress, but that's finished now. When I'm recording this, it's 2 weeks till my wedding, but by the time I've posted this, I think the wedding will have been and gone. So I think I'll start with the lightest colour, which is that yellow, and just testing it on the side on my scrap paper. Oh, it's very light, so I think I will need a heavy application. So apologies if the camera wobbles because it's attached to the desk here. So I'm thinking I'm just doing this in sort of areas, but I'm not filling the whole bubbles because I want the colours to blend in these bubbles. So I think I'll leave that there for the moment. Now my carved pumpkin, that's very wet, so I have to be really careful with that. And what I'll do is, that's a tip from Joe Rice, just use my lid here to get rid of the excess, and then I can pick it up here afterwards. I'm also checking it here, so I'm just blending into the yellow areas here. And then I'll fill the rest with my pink. Again, testing it in here and on there. Yeah, again, you can see it's very dark, so I'm just wiping most of it off. It might actually have some excess of some purple on here. Never clean my brushes, so I have to blend this out a little bit. I'm doing this fairly light-handed. I can just lift this up to check. Yes, I think I'll have to fade the orange out a little bit. So I'm just going in like this. Yeah, I like this a bit better. Just contemplating whether I should fill it all in, but no, I'm just fading it out like this. Oh, sorry if I'm going a bit off screen at the bottom there. So there you can see. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. So I'm going to do another bit here off camera for the ATC, and then I come back to stamp my main image. Oh, just a little tip before I start on this one. As I'm not cleaning my stencil in between, I try to stay in the same areas with the same colours that I had before. So pink on this side, then the yellow, and then the orange on here. But I try to contain the colour a bit in one area because I want all three colours to be on the little ATC. Okay, I have cut my two pieces to size. This is just under 2.5 by under 3.5, and this is 3 3/4, and by 5 3/4. Reason being is I wanted this to be a bit smaller because I all of a sudden had this mad idea to turn both of these into shaker cards. It came about because I wondered which ink to stamp it with, and then I thought about my Stazon, and I thought about Stazon being good on foil, and yeah, this is how it just evolved within 10 minutes. So to stamp on, because I don't want this to be thick acetate, I'm just using some laminating sheets, and I've just taken 1/2, and I've got the matte inside on the top here, because I will turn this inside out afterwards. Now I can't turn this inside out because I've got writing. Let me think whether I need to turn it the other way around then. I think I'll have to turn this round. Glad I noticed. If you have a motif that you can have mirrored, that's fine. But if you want writing, you want it the right way around. And it's the shinier side anyway. I think, yeah, that'll be the better option. But this is why you need the Stazon, because the Stazon will stick on the acetate here for the laminating pouch. So as you can see, I've put my card underneath, so now I can outline these and I know where I'm stamping these. So I've decided on the Sending Sunshine at the bottom, and then I've got my gin glass just above it. It will only just fit in. And then I want my little wedge of lime or lemon on the side here. So I've got this all in my stamping platform. So I'm just picking this up, and I hope it won't stick on the acetate as it's done before. It has done that. So make sure when you do that, that your laminating sheet doesn't crack. And I've also it doesn't matter actually if this one moves, because I can actually take this out now, because all I needed that was to align it. So I can actually move this about now a little bit. Sorry about that, I'm just realizing I've got a bit of a fold here at the bottom, so I'm just putting this down again. So I'm just inking up my stamps as usual. Oops, no, not as usual. Don't forget you've got this protective lid in there. I haven't used this in a while, so conscious of getting enough ink on the stamp. And now I'm pressing it down. Try not to move the stamping platform because it is slippery and it is a bit tricky not to slip and make this move. And I'm hoping that when I pull it up, that the magnets will hold down the foil without smearing it. See what I mean? But this is crisp enough. So I'm leaving this to dry now, and I'm going to do the same technique with the other one. Obviously I've got a bit more space there to stamp it down, and as I said, I'll leave this to dry. I think on certain acetates you can use heat tools. By the way, if you're not fussed about how thick your acetate is, you can do this on the inside of the laminating sheet. Obviously not have any writing, and then laminate the whole thing, and that will protect your ink as well. But as I said, I will leave this like this now, and I will come back to it later. A little tip before I continue with this one here. I've put the laminating sheet on top here, but I know I've got residue ink on this one here, and I don't want to mess this up whilst I'm working out where to put the stamps. I've just got some clear packaging here. I'm not worried that it's got this here, but I can put this on top, which allows me then to put the stamps on there without ruining the laminating pouch underneath. So I can play around with these now, pick it up with my lid, and then remove this before I stamp. It is now a few hours later, and the Stazon has really nicely dried on this, and now I can colour this in, but I'm not colouring it in from the front. I'm going to turn it round, and that allows me to just go over the lines without smudging anything, and it's really easy to colour it in. I'm using my alcohol markers. These are, I think, from the works. I bought these. Some I know are from Germany, although they look very similar. So I've just chosen two tones of yellow, an orange and a pink to go with the background colours, and then a blue with the ice cubes here. Keep in mind, when you colour these in, these come out a bit more paler, come out paler than they would on cardstock. It's somehow the what's it called, the laminating sheet absorbs the ink a little bit. So I'm just going in with my orange first, and I just want to give these slices a bit of definition. Just colouring it in very loosely, doing the same here, although obviously with it being in drink this would probably be even paler, but I want just a splash of colour. Then I'm going in with the darker yellow, which in my case is just called yellow, and I'm filling in the rest here. And I've put a piece of white cardstock underneath so I can see where I have already coloured and where I still need to colour. Same here. Contemplating whether I need a slightly darker orange, but I can turn this around and have a look at it from the other side. Yeah, I think I want a bit more definition here on the orange. Let me just switch this off and find a different orange pen. Yes, I found a darker one, which is actually a bit brownish, but it doesn't matter. I think on the laminating pouch it will actually come out quite nicely. And because it's a laminating sheet, these pens actually blend into each other really nicely, so don't need to do a lot to them. So I just keep continuing colouring these in. I actually zoom a little bit in for you, but I'm going to speed this up now for the video very quickly so you can follow me still how I'm doing it. But I don't need to go through the whole bit in like 5 minutes. I'll try to do it in 2.5. Yeah, I'm happy with it. It didn't take me that long anyway. I went in with a second pink pen because I wanted to have some sort of colour for the liquid there, but it was too stripy and it was too dark, so I just took a lighter pink to blend it all in, and I went over it again, and I think I'm happy with this now. So I'm leaving this to dry for a moment, and then I'll show you how to create the pockets for the shaker cards. I have already found 2 lots of embellishments that I might use. These are little stars, and I think they would work nicely for a summer theme, especially as they are different colours. And I've also got these little bits here. These are like polymer clay slices. I bought them years ago, and I also separated them years ago. They come in a pack like this, different ones all together, and I separated them into, these are animals, cakes, smileys, fruit hearts, and these are fruit slices. So I think I will be using these together with these and just pop a mix in. I don't want the pouches to be too bulky, but you need enough to be able to shake them around. So first of all, make sure you don't have any hairs on this, because once it's in the pocket, there's nothing you can do about this. I've got the ATC here, and I already know I want this at the bottom where the sentiment goes and have this at the top. So I'm putting it this way around, and I'm using some red tape, because I know red tape won't come undone, and red tape will also hold the acetate from the laminating sheet. So, and I'm putting red tape along the sides here, as close to the side as possible, although it doesn't really matter. And I also want to make sure I'm filling in the bottom. I will put a backing on this afterwards with my information about my ATC, so it doesn't have to be super neat, but obviously you want to have as little bulk as possible. Sorry, I'm going off screen there. Just need a little piece up here. So I'm already peeling this one off so I can set the other one down, because that's a bit too long. So I've also got a bit of excess there down there that I need to peel off. So I now need to cut this acetate here, or the laminating pouch, to size. So what I'm doing is I'm setting this down here, and I'm just marking. You can do that with a pencil, any pen that would work. You could even use a Sharpie. So I'm just testing again. I know it's very close. You can actually use the grid on your mat as well. So I'm just making sure again, I'm not going too high, not going too low. I know I'm cutting the sentiment off there. I knew that beforehand. So all I need is to basically mark here where I can cut this down, because I don't need all this excess. So I'll quickly do that before I stick it down. So I'm setting this down again, getting this straight. So I'm now holding this in place at the top, because I want to peel the bottom and the sides off. So first of all, I'm folding over the bottom piece. So for the sides, I want a little bit of bulk, because if I don't have any bulk, if I don't have any air basically in there, I won't be able to put any shaker pieces in. So I'm letting go of that a little bit before I set it down again. So basically, if this is straight, if that makes sense, if I push this straight down here, I'm now moving it back to this side, and that will give me a little bit of a pouch. So I'm not too worried about the corners just yet, although I think I will miter them a little bit. Sorry about that. This is a bit different from the normal plastic I use. I will actually cut this bit away here, the square. I think that will make it easiest. And then I will miter the corner here a bit. I think that's what you call it. Anyway. Unless you use glitter, it's very unlikely to have anything leak anyway. So you could see what I was doing there. So as I said, don't do it too tight. Setting this down now, and now I can fold this over. I will have to peel these off just a little bit, so I've got the side bit there exposed, and I'm doing the same with here, but I don't want to peel it off completely because I still need to fill the card. So I'm just doing it like this, pressing this down here. So again, doing this one a bit loosely, so that now I've got a nice pouch. Can you see the bulk to it there? I hope you can. So that will give me enough space for the embellishments. So it's got some strawberries there as well. Maybe not the huge one. The small ones are really cute, and it's got lots of citrus slices and apples. So I can now open this a little bit with my finger and let these slide in. I hope they're not too static. And the other thing I don't want these to stand up straight, or they're very static. Ooh. Okay, sorry about that. But they have to sit flat. If they don't sit flat, then this will have too much bulk and they won't move around. Might have been a good idea to use my anti-static powder tool before I close this. I will do that, I think, on the card just to see whether that makes a difference, and then I could put a disclaimer in. But this feels better already. So I will quickly off camera put in some stars, and then I'll show you how to close it. So for the back, I'm doing the same as before. I'm taking these rectangles off, or cutting them off here, fold them over actually like this, and then cut this at an angle. And now I can peel the rest of these off. That one there, and that, press it down. If you wanted to, you could put the last one on later, actually, after you've stuck the foil down here, but I think it'll be fine because, as I said, I will put something over the back afterwards. So we'll put another panel same size on here just to cover the back, and then yeah, there's my shaker ATC. I'm really happy with that. They are a bit stuck. No, they actually are moving about. The good thing about this, about these frameless shaker cards, you've got the full motif there, and you don't have anything sticking to the sides as such. This only stuck because it's a bit tight in the corners. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and I think it looks very summery. So I shall do the same with now the front card base, and I'll show you that. But as I said before, I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool and see if that makes a difference for the little sequins I put in here. So the anti-static powder tool did not make a difference, but I just wanted to show you this. Before you seal this up, make definitely sure none of the sequins or embellishments are standing up, because you might have to go in with your scissors or another tool. You could go in with your pokey tool and make sure these are actually flat. I also added a few of these here, and even they try to stand up because it is a bit static. So make sure it's sort of flat, except for when they're obviously layering up, because the last thing you want is for these to stick out, especially the little stars are quite, you can see this here, this one standing up, they're quite pokey as well, and you don't want your acetate to be damaged by that. So once you're happy with this, these are all static again. Just give them a little of a shake just to make sure. Once you're happy they're all nicely set down, then you can seal it off. I have to play a bit longer now. I think by me putting my scissors in, that might have made it static again as well. So I'll find another tool, maybe the pokey tool, or maybe a wooden skewer would work rather than metal or plastic. I'll have a look at that. And then I'm going to seal this off, and I'm going to put it on my card base. So the skewer worked to move the bits about, but it's not a permanent solution, because with it having so much bulk, you can see it's almost like a cushion. These sit up again, so I'll probably have to send this in a padded envelope. But then again, I think it's really cool because these pieces move about really nicely, and that's the idea about a shaker card. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this, and obviously the main thing is the ATC. And I think it's less of a problem with this one because it doesn't have that much height, although there's some of them are sitting up here. But yeah, I think these are really cool. Apologies if the recipient of these likes to have their ATCs in a folder, because there is a bit of bulk to this one. But I think, yeah, I think it's cool. I'm really chuffed with what I've created. And yeah, it was just a random idea whilst I was creating the ATC and the matching card. And if you like these too, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, I usually post videos on a Wednesday and a Sunday. You might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And I'll see you soon with another video.